Okay, to finish up mycorrhizae, since I got interrupted in my last recording, we need to talk a little bit more about endomycorrhizae, or AM, and we just need to talk about where you tend to find them and how many plants have them. So remember I said there's only about 160 species of fungus that form this, but over 80% of all land plants form this association in nature. And so it's not going to be a one-to-one association of one species of fungus only with one species of plant, but it is very widespread, especially in tropical forests and grasslands. And in these situations, the fungus seems to be really helpful in absorbing phosphorus, because phosphorus is often very limiting in tropical forests. It's not very mobile in the soils, and so roots could just mine it in a certain area. And then if you have these hyphae that can go out longer distances and absorb more, that would be very beneficial. Moving on to ectomycorrhizae. In ectomycorrhizae, the hyphae do not penetrate into the cortical cells of a root. So ecto for outer mycorrhizae. So if we look at the structure here, you can see that in this root cross-section, the hyphae go between the cortical cells, but they don't form those arbuscles in the cells. And looking from the side here in this illustration, you can see the hyphae will extend out into the soil. They'll also completely cover the root, which it's called a mantle of hyphae, and then they go between the root cells, and they do the exchange of materials here. Here you can see the network of hyphae between the cortical cells and the root. You can also sort of tell there's a complete covering in them with the mantle. This you can see the mantle a little bit easier because you see all this hyphae on the surface of the root. You do not form any root hairs when you have ectomycorrhizae because you're completely covered by the fungus, and it's only the hyphae that go out into the soil. As opposed to with endomycorrhizae, the roots can still form root hairs. When you get this ectomycorrhizae, often the roots are kind of short and stubby. This doesn't look like normal growth of roots. And ectomycorrhizae are very important in temperate, cool, and cold forests. And they're very common with conifers, pine trees, etc., but they can also form with oak trees. And they're more important for absorbing nitrogen. They do secrete enzymes, peptidases, that break down, peptides, polypeptides, and then the amino acids can be absorbed by the fungus. Just to let you know, there are other types of mycorrhizae, even those two were the big groups. So for instance, there's a type of mycorrhizae that associates with plants of the heath family. And some of those plants are quite amazing. If you look at this, there's no chlorophyll in either of these. This so-called snow plant, which comes up through the snow in the Sierra. And then this one, which I believe is a ghost plant, can't quite remember, no chlorophyll. So what happens is they have a mycorrhizal association, and it's the fungus that is absorbing materials so the plant can survive. And then also orchids. Orchid seeds are so tiny, there's really no stored food for that little embryo. So you've got to have the mycorrhizae find it at the beginning, otherwise the embryos will not be able to grow. And lastly, make sure you read in your book about fungal endophytes, inside of plants. So these are fungi that are not mycorrhizal, but they're in the above ground parts of the plant, and they have many kinds of associations, parasites, mutualisms, etc. We're still just trying to get the hand on those. And for fun, you can check out this video, Gross Science Wood Wide Web. Be careful with it, though. They're kind of fast and loose on interpreting the relationships, and they often ascribe benevolent meaning of the plant or the fungus. So it's kind of fun, but be careful about what you believe. Okay, that's it. I am Sorry, I've been stumbling a little bit. It's been a long day trying to get this stuff up online. Thank you.